What's going on, guys? This is Dave. Welcome back today to another season review. Now, today I'm joined by the man that Dr. Benji thought was the real legend, Mr. WorkTheSpace. Jack, how are you doing today,
Hello.
sir?
I'm not too bad. Thank you for having me on this. I'm
No
kind of
worries.
excited to sit down and chat, really.
Yeah,
Should be good
definitely. So, obviously, Jack, for anyone that hasn't seen one of these before, we're just speaking to each other about today about Jack's last year on YouTube, how he feels it has gone for him, and about Football Manager 2016, really. So, we'll start off with a big question, Jack. How do you feel the last 12 months or so has gone for you as a YouTuber? Because you did have quite a long break. Was it last year on FM15?
I did. It was actually... I was working on the game for a while, and it kind of got to the summer, and I left my job at SI, and I was just like, I need a break. I was playing 8 hours of Football Manager a week, or a day, sorry, and then I'd come home and play it and record it, and it just got to the stage where it's just like, I'm really burnt out, I'm starting a new job, I'm moving across the country, I just need a break, really. And I kind of had this break. I think it was from around July time to September. That really did help, I think, because I'd had one kind of similar break, I guess, to that more than a year prior to that. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of you probably know this as a content creator, there's just times where you don't necessarily want to play FM. I think most FM players know that. Yeah. If you play FM, there's always a few months in the year where you just don't really touch it. And I feel like it had been building up for me for so long. It was just like, right, I don't necessarily want to quit YouTube. I just need to wash my hands of it for a few months, settle into this new job and all this other stuff that was going on, and then come back rejuvenated. And it really has helped me, I think, this year, because... well, by my standards, I've had a good year. Usually, I'm terrible at uploading, to be honest. I always start off really well, and I'll do one long-term series that goes amazingly. Yeah. And then I slack a little bit. Whereas this year, it's really been, for me, a case of I want to balance my work and my videos. And when the game first came out, I was uploading daily videos for kind of the first 5 or 6 months. Yeah. Which I think if anyone who does videos knows, it takes a lot out of you doing that.
Of course.
And my videos have slowed down, a little bit of late. But all in all, this year's been really good because I've not had any real extended breaks. I've still got areas where I want to improve going forward, but I feel like I've learned a lot from this year on YouTube kind of compared to perhaps years before that.
Yeah. And going back to the job at SI, what did you do? Obviously, you said you're working on Football Manager, so what was your job at SI?
Yeah, so when would it have been? I'm trying to get my years right. So 2014, I graduated from university, and I was kind of sat there thinking, I want to work in the games industry. And I saw that there were some testing jobs coming up at SI, and it's like, I've never really worked in London before. Could be a fun little adventure. I'll apply for it. Why not? And I didn't hear anything back for months. Yeah. I was like, well, that's something odd. So I was looking at design jobs, kind of more related to my degree. And I got 2 job offers on the same day. One was from a design company offering me, more than SI were offering me. And the other was from SI basically saying, come down to London and test the game for us. And, I went with my heart rather than my head, and it's kind of worked out for me. I don't know if I'd recommend to anyone, working in London, on a very, very low kind of basic salary as a game tester, kind of starting at the very bottom. But it gave me a different perspective, a real insight, I guess, into Football Manager just kind of as a game, and it gave me a newfound appreciation for kind of what goes on behind the scenes, and it was just so cool to work in something that I guess I'm so passionate about in Football Manager. So it was really cool, the whole experience, really.
Did you learn much about kind of the actual game, or when you were playing it, were you just doing the sort of things that you were usually doing anyway?
So it's weird. With testing a game, obviously, I have to be careful about what I say here, because you sign all kinds of stuff because you're playing the game before it's out, obviously. Yeah. But you're trying to break the game in some ways and looking for problems, but at the same time, you can kind of generally play through a save and keep a save going kind of through the months of testing. I think when I was testing, I had a save with Wolfsburg, actually, where I managed to sign a 35-year-old Messi.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So that was kind of my passion project, that save. So that was good fun. And you do learn quite a lot. You see a lot more of kind of what goes on behind the scenes. It's kind of cool being able to talk to programmers and other testers, about stuff to do with the game and really get into the theory of FM and, learn more about what goes on kind of behind the scenes in terms of the game stuff, about the match engine that you just wouldn't know as a casual player. And I want to say it's benefited me playing FM. I don't know if it has, because it's given me way more to think about in terms of it's like when you know how a magician does a trick in a lot of ways. Yeah. And it kind of changes how you think about it all. But no, it definitely gave me an appreciation, certainly, for what the game does and kind of how things happen behind the scenes.
So do you do you spend enough time on the game to even like perfect a tactic before the game's even out as such?
Well, you do a little bit, but
Yeah.
with the beta and stuff, like the game gets updated in the beta and from the beta, and the match engine often changes a lot like that. And what often happens is you'll find a tactic that works too well or a player role that's too good, and it has to be toned down. It has to be tweaked because it's like, it's too strong.
Yeah, so with Football Manager 2016, how much have you enjoyed it personally compared, obviously, to other Football Managers that you've played?
I've really enjoyed it. I enjoy every Football Manager. I feel like there's a lot. Maybe I look through rose-tinted glasses. I think that's the first thing I should say. I'm a very big FM fanboy, and I can appreciate a lot of the problems that people have with the game. Stuff like crosses being a little bit too good at times, and all that kind of stuff. But for me, I gauge an FM and how good it is on how much I've played it, and I've not played any less FM this year than I did last year. I feel like the actual kind of first version of the game was really good this year. There were a few little problems here and there, but often with FM, I feel like we get the beta version. There's inherent problems and they're really obvious, and they don't necessarily get addressed completely until kind of Christmas time, and kind of that January update. Whereas this year, I've absolutely loved it. I feel like the game's been good from the off in a lot of ways, and I understand why people have their complaints about certain elements, but for me, it's just like there's a lot bigger problems that FM could have. Yeah. And I feel like FM is still progressing. I sometimes see people criticise FM for not changing enough. And as I said, it might just be me with kind of rose-tinted glasses. But for me, I kind of watch FM develop year on year. And I've played the game for a number of years now. Yeah. And I still always get excited about the little changes and the little things that get added. And for me, as I said, this year FM has just been really fun. I've had great fun playing this game. I've enjoyed making videos on it. I've had a few different long-term saves, and well, I don't know how you kind of feel about the game, but for me, I feel like it's the best FM ever, and that's all you can really ask for with the yearly iterations of Football Manager.
Yeah, I know, and I mean, people that have watched every season reviews probably going to be sick of me saying this, but I've said it is the most complete Football Manager ever, feature-wise and everything. And for me, I've had no crash dumps, no bugs as such or anything. But it's been one of the hardest FMs for me to get into a save on for some apparent reason. I don't know if that's because of how my life's changed schedule-wise and stuff like that. But for me as a YouTuber as well, like this year's been most complete for YouTube. I've never had, again, as you say, any prolonged breaks or anything like that. But yeah, it has been the best FM, and hopefully FM 17 will be even better than this one. But going back to like bugs and stuff, say your job at SI. So obviously you worked there during when FM 15 came out.
Yeah.
So if anyone ever had any bugs, I'm guessing that to post them on the forums.
Oh, the forums. Let's talk about the forums. So you might hear Miles Jacobson tweet. If you ever tweet at Miles or anyone at SI, they'll go post it on the forums. There is a good reason that you should post it on the forums, and it's because it needs to be addressed, the problem. It sounds obvious, but if you don't report a problem, it'll never be fixed. And a lot of people go, it's loads of faff setting up on the forum. But the thing with the forum is it allows every single problem to be catalogued, and registered properly so it can actually be addressed. Because you have so many different bugs, they have to be prioritised and stuff. And if you're just tweeting at Miles, like, I've got this bug, please fix it. Miles does not have the time, or no one at SI has the time really, to kind of collect all the different tweets about all the different problems people have and kind of go, these are the problems, let's fix them. Yeah. Like they need to be kind of recorded properly. And what people might not realise is a lot of the testers, a lot of the people who reply to you on the forums, who are absolutely cracking people, they are testers. They are people who work in a similar job to what I did, who will report your problems, try and reproduce. So I did that, but really, as you said, my big save this year has been the Rise to Glory. And it's actually a save that I did 2 years ago, not on YouTube. I kind of just did it in my free time, I think. And it was basically a save in Gibraltar back then. And I kind of brought it back this year, but with a new created club that I kind of made from scratch.
Yeah.
And over the last, I think we're on season 23 now, and it's kind of 170 episodes later. We've lost 2 Champions League finals. Uh-oh. We've achieved domestic dominance kind of in Gibraltar. And the league is kind of in the top, I think, 15 leagues in Europe.
Wow.
And there's a £100 million TV deal that every team receives. So the league is turning into a super league, really. Like, there's teams worth hundreds of millions of pounds. But the issue is because their reputation's so low, because they're from Gibraltar, they're not buying anyone at the moment. So it's quite interesting, actually. So I've hit season 23, which I think is my 6th or 7th season of this like massive TV deal. And finally, teams are starting to spend, £10+ million on like English Premier League players. So it's kind of interesting because I'm kind of getting to that point, but it's kind of been a case of managing at club level, kind of getting this dominance kind of in my league, kind of raising Gibraltar's reputation, and now I'm kind of trying to haul the rest of the Gibraltarian teams with me.
Yeah.
And kind of also in that, I've become the Gibraltar manager.
Yeah.
And I got Gibraltar to Euro 2036. That seems really weird to say aloud, but it was Euro 2036 in Germany, if anyone wants a prediction for the future. But no, it's been a really fun save for me. It's been very different to anything I've done before, and it's my longest save on YouTube in terms of game time by an absolute mile.
Yeah.
But I'm still really, really enjoying it. And I don't know if I should be after 23 years. You'd think that'd be enough torture. But
it's a little bit annoying how
really
everyone's starting to spend the money as FM17's approaching as well.
It is. I mean, it's eight months of grinding, and now they've decided to kind of empty their pockets. But it's kind of fun to emerge, and I've kind of done stuff with it to keep the save fresh. So I did kind of a big rebrand of all the teams in Gibraltar, because Gibraltar's like an amateur league, and a lot of the team logos don't. I don't want to say they don't look great. If any Gibraltarian kind of teams are watching, but they needed a fresh lick of paint. So I kind of did that, and I've tried to keep the save fresh. It's getting a little bit hard now, I think, after 23 seasons, but I'm still really enjoying it. And I feel like that's the main thing as a content creator, is it becomes so much easier to do videos if you're enjoying what you're doing.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter. So was that for your save then, all that Gibraltar stuff? I saw the kind of video clip of it.
So I did 22 new logos. For every single team, kind of tried to keep them the same but different, and then I got viewers to submit kit designs for all the teams using the new logo. So that was a really cool way to kind of get people involved. It was a bit of a pain really, because I had 22 teams, so 44 kits home and away, and I got sent over 200.
Wow.
So it's hard to kind of please everyone in that kind of case, but I've been kind of rotating some of the kits, and it's just been fun to kind of watch the whole thing to come together. It's been very different, and I don't think I'll ever do it again, because it has been a struggle at times. But I always feel like with FM, I like to challenge myself and do something I've not necessarily done before. And although I said I've kind of done this before, I never stuck with it for as long as I have with this one.
Yeah.
And it's just been kind of a fun adventure, really, so far. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, touch wood, I will win a Champions League before FM17, or it will be a failure of a series as far as I'm concerned.
So I'm guessing you're going to be continuing for the next Football Manager as well. Do you have any plans, or are you going to disclose any plans?
I'm not wearing a fox suit, just to get that out there early on. I don't know really. I've kind of slipped into this thing whereby I do a lower league English save every other year.
Yeah.
So my first ever save it was my second ever save on YouTube was an FC United and Manchester save. Yeah. Then 2 years ago for FM15 now, I did Lewis FC.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like with FM17, I have to repeat the trend, and it's something that people seem to enjoy, is the lower league to the top thing. And a lot of people asked for it this year, and I didn't really want to do it again because I've done it quite a few times in my own time, and now on YouTube twice. So I'm kind of still sat around thinking of ways I can maybe spice it up for next year. It's kind of, I feel like with FM17, I don't really know what I want to do yet. I feel like every day I wake up and I think about it a little bit in the shower, in the morning. What is my save going to be for next year? And I still haven't made up my mind. I feel like the Liverpool save was really well received kind of as an opening save for the year, and I think I'll do a similar thing with another Premier League side. Part of me wants to go back and do like the Pentagon Challenge, because I actually tried it on FM13 and then again this year and failed twice.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I feel like I've done the lower league save to the top. I've now done the Gibraltar save, which is an absolutely mental challenge, and I wouldn't wish it upon my enemy. It's honestly one of the most draining FM experiences ever. But it's like, I want to do the Pentagon, I want to do the Hexagon, I want to win a World Cup. I've not done a lot of national team management. I've not gone too far afield, really, with my FM managerial stuff, and it's... I don't know. I feel like I always have plans and then they change. I feel like that's the nature. Unless, of course, you've kind of put a wager on a certain team finishing in a certain position, at which point your save's been planned since kind of last December. I mean, I don't know. Like with you, have you got kind of plans in mind? Because I feel like it's always interesting hearing other content creators. And I feel like when you're doing a save, a big thing actually is what are other people doing, and like what can I do that's a bit different.
My initial plans for last year was to do Liverpool, but I know, obviously, I saw that you did a Liverpool save as well, so I thought I didn't want to, because I knew there would probably be another couple of people. I didn't want to still go down that route. So in the end, I think last year, I didn't have half as many subscribers as I had now. I did a save called Ruling My Rivals, where obviously I'm a Wolves fan, so I did kind of like a situation where I'd have to manage every one of Wall's rivals within the save.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a good idea, but I didn't. In the end, I enjoyed it, to be fair, but in the end, I gave the idea up. I may do it again next year because I won League One with Warsaw straight away in the first year, and I never continued it after that, which is a little bit annoying. But then this year, I've got an idea for the beta save, where it's going to be, as you say, a slightly bigger team as well. But again, for my main save, I don't have any idea what I'm going to do. Keep thinking maybe about a journeyman save, because like my most enjoyable Football Manager ones have been journeyman saves. Again, there's the pentagon or hexagon challenge, whatever it is, but that it does need commitment. I mean, I started it this year, and I think after the first year, you got to enjoy it to do it. In my opinion, I didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the biggest thing with a content creator is sometimes you can watch someone's videos and you just know that they're just kind of slugging it out with the club they're at because they feel like they have to. And in some ways, I feel like it's always just better coming clean and just going, look, guys, I'm not enjoying it.
Exactly.
I want to try something new. And I feel like actually the benefit with something like the pentagon or hexagon is you can just afford to hop around a little bit if you just don't click with a club. I feel like a lot of people don't realise that is with if you play FM as a casual fan, you start a lot of games throughout the year and don't persevere with them. And I think in most people's cases, they maybe go through 2 long-term saves every year. And a lot of the time, you kind of manage pre-season, you lose your first 2 games, screw it, next save. And with YouTube, you can't really afford to do that. I guess you can in terms of you can pre-record a few episodes just to get a feel with it and know if you're going to enjoy it or not. But there is that element of kind of commitment once you've kind of gone with something that you just have to stick it out a lot of the time.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So obviously we spoke about Football Manager 17. Football Manager 16 for I know we spoke about this before with your working and stuff, but for people that you watch on YouTube, do you have any kind of favourites that you'd always click on the video if you see it pop up?
I've got to hold my hands up and go for the answer that I've heard a number of times on this, which is, as a content creator, I don't watch that many other people. And I'll drop in and watch the odd video, and I'm subscribed to a lot of people, and I always get interested when people start new saves, or if there's kind of a catchy thumbnail or an interesting title, or I see a video being pinged around on Twitter. Yeah. But I feel like, especially if you work like 9 to 5 or just work any kind of job, you work your job, you record videos or produce videos or edit your videos or whatever. Sometimes the last thing you want to do is then watch more FM.
Yeah, of course,
sometimes I'll have people stuff on like in the background at work. I feel like actually before I worked at SI, it's something that I didn't really have a problem with, is watching more FM content creators. But my tolerance for FM in general, despite how much I absolutely love it, has kind of hit a wall of such where it's sometimes just like I can't bring myself to do it. But this year has been really interesting, actually, because I feel like you've kind of got your old guard of content creators, people like Golden FM, Second and Yellow Card, Matt to an extent, Benji, obviously, and then there's a few people who I'm missing out. I don't want anyone to be offended by the fact I missed them out. But there are a lot of up-and-coming content creators, and it's kind of been interesting to see kind of people like yourself, Fox in the Box, One True Nerd, Lolujo. Kev, I've said your name wrong, but it's something like that. I'm sorry. It's been interesting to see so many new content creators kind of breaking up, because it's something that I've talked about with other content creators before, is when I started doing videos, the biggest bit of the big channels had kind of 2,000 subscribers, and that was absolutely massive. And it's kind of changed a lot since, the start of 2014? Was it 14 or 13 I started? 13. 3.5 years. It's been too long. But I feel like the goalposts always move a little bit in terms of where you want to be.
Yeah.
Whereas for me right now, I feel like if you have more than 2,000 subscribers, you are doing really, really well for yourself with Football Manager stuff, because it's a little bit saturated, I think, when you compare the number of people actually watching FM content to the number of people kind of doing it. But lots of people are trying new stuff and have been trying new stuff this year, such as yourself, such as Foxy with kind of his Pro Zone tutorials, Lolujo, Kev with his different kind of approach, again, One True Nerd, similar thing. And it's really exciting to see kind of so many things like that happening. And I really hope that continues next year, that we see more innovators coming up and doing something a little bit different, kind of breaking the mold a little bit. I think when I started, my channel was very much built off guides, my FC United Manchester save, and then also the odd experiment thrown in here and there. Yeah. And I feel like if I was to do the same now, it wouldn't get me very far. Yeah. And I think it's all about being an innovator. I feel like once you get to a certain point, kind of at 2,000 subscribers, you've kind of built your niche, built an audience doing a certain kind of content. You don't necessarily have to worry quite so much. Obviously, innovation is always going to propel you further, but you've got your foot in the door at that point. And
Of course, yeah.
as I said, with content creators this year, it's been so great to see so many new people kind of stepping up to that 2,000 plus subscriber mark, because actually, kind of a year ago, I would have struggled to name a lot of content creators, and now they're getting noticed a lot more. People are, they're producing more regular content. People are really standing out. They're making that conscious effort to innovate. And I just think it's a really exciting time to watch this ecosystem kind of develop. I feel like I've been watching FM videos for a very long time and been involved in them. Yeah. I certainly wasn't one of the kind of originals to the party, so to say. But I feel like I came in, I shook things up a little bit. And now it's interesting to kind of see that a little bit more going on with more people. Yeah. And it's kind of cool just to see something that you've been involved in for so long kind of continuing to develop and continuing to exceed your expectations, I think.
Yeah, especially as you said, a few years ago, if you had over 2,000 subscribers, it shows how much the community or the game as a whole has grown. As how you guys are now with Ben is over 30,000, you're 50,000. You got Golden FM, Second Yellow Card, all on that large number of subscribers. So it'll be interesting from our point of view in another couple of years how big the FM community will actually be, because it's obviously grown a huge amount. And as you say, I remember when I used to search Football Managers 3-4 years ago, there would only be a handful of YouTubers that would come up, but now you could type in Football Manager and a team and definitely be a couple of YouTubers that have probably done a video on that particular team and so on. And I know now on Twitter, every day you see another couple of YouTubers pop up, and you just gotta hope those sort of people stick at it. I know when you first start you might be only getting 15-20 views a video, and I was last year, and then all of a sudden it will click and it'll kick in. And
it's one of those things you just stick at it and you improve. Someone will notice you eventually, and I have to confess, I'm not the best at noticing people, because I don't watch a lot of F7 stuff. I'm not someone who has my ear to the ground 24/7, looking for the rumblings of the next big thing. But when I see people whose content has effort put into it, who really stands out for me, I'll chat to them. I'll try and check out their videos, see what they're doing, and hopefully watch them kind of progress, because I feel like it's always interesting. You hear a new name in the FM community, you watch their first video, you might forget about them, you might just not watch another one of their videos, you might just forget to subscribe, and then a few months on you go and watch the same person's videos, and it's like there's a whole different person, because they've stuck at it, they've learned their trade, they've learned what makes them stand out, they've got a system that works for them, and they've just been consistent about it, and they've innovated in areas which haven't really been tapped into by someone before them.
Yeah, and obviously you've got your Manager of the Month series, wasn't it, or a couple of videos?
I have, I've got to be honest, kind of been slacking with that. It will be coming back. I always feel like it's difficult around this time of the year.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I feel like I could give someone a shout out now, but it's going to have a lot less of an impact than, say, in a few months' time when the new game's out. And it's not something that I kind of one day sat down and went, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I honestly, one of the effects I felt I was having with that series was I was pushing people towards channels. They subscribe and then they wouldn't stick around. Yeah. And so I want to change my approach with that series and look at ways that I can perhaps collab with that person rather than just sending people their way in a way that isn't kind of saying go and subscribe to this person because I enjoy their stuff, but is more so saying here's this person, we're going to do a video today. If you enjoy it, if you like their personality, if you want to see more of them, check out their channel down below, because I feel like that kind of shout out has a lot more positive and healthier long-term impact on someone's channel rather than kind of just sending people to someone. And I know for some people they probably go, but those people who you shout out, they got hundreds of subscribers in days. Yeah. I feel like subscribers is a number that, yes, it's fantastic to look at and feel the sense of progression. But for me, what I really appreciate with this and what gives me the biggest buzz as a content creator is having people actively engage in your content, leave comments, message you on Twitter asking about certain players. And for me, and I hope for most of kind of other content creators, that is the motivating factor in kind of doing content on YouTube, is that kind of whole level of interaction you get with like-minded people who enjoy Football Manager, and the way that you can interact with your viewers on a bit more of a personal basis, I think.
Yeah, of course. So, Jack, moving on then, if someone, I'm sure you get a lot of people ask you, and when they're first starting up on YouTube, what sort of tips would you give people for a Football Manager, if they wanted to be a Football Manager YouTuber?
Got you. Well, I feel like I touched upon it a little bit earlier, but can I go on a rant? Am I allowed?
Go on.
I feel like going on a rant here is a little
Go
bit
on a rant.
rude, but one thing that annoys me, I'm talking to you, Jimmy, who uploads one video that's a minute long and then tweets me or messages me saying, I'm making an FM channel, you've got no content on it, please shout me out.
Yeah.
Like, make content first. I feel like your best critic is yourself when you make content. Don't upload one video that's 10 minutes long and then tweet it at every single YouTuber tagged in the same tweet, or copy and paste the same tweet to 100 different YouTubers. Because if someone asks me to check out their video, I go and look at their tweets, and if they've tweeted every person under the sun,
yeah,
it's just a bit spammy, and it just puts me off ever watching it, and it gives me a negative first impression.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're gonna start doing YouTube, do it because you want to do it to begin with. Do it because you enjoy it. I feel like a lot of people start because they want something to do. It's a commitment to do YouTube videos. It's a commitment to find something niche. It's a commitment to, do daily content. It's ridiculous how much it takes out of your life.
Yeah.
But I think you have to create a platform for yourself. Do 10 videos. Look at those 10 videos. Watch them through. Look at how you can improve. One of the best ways you can do this, and I did this when I first started, was I'd watch every one of my videos kind of in bulk. So I'd watch 5 episodes at a time, and I'd note down any words I said more than twice in an episode. And then I'd write a number of alternative words for that word on a notepad and sit it on a post-it note or on the notepad in front of me on my desk. Yeah. And whenever I could tell I was about to say a word that I'd already said a number of times, and I knew I said a lot, I had a list of alternative words, and it's little things like that. People don't want to hear you use the same adjective multiple times, although I'm definitely guilty of that, and I've slipped into that habit, and I'm sure you have that thing. Yeah. It's like when you say like before every sentence.
Yeah. I think I always say obviously on mine. I'm like,
Obviously is... there is an episode of mine on one series called Obviously. Yeah. I think I said it like 10 times. It's just like, I can't... And then I mentioned, I've said obviously a lot today. I think I went on to say it 5 more times, and every time I said it, it was a bit like Homer Simpson with kind of the dull moment with saying bad happens. So that's kind of what was going on internally for me. But as I said, I think the thing to do is upload content, evaluate it, look at it. How can you improve it? Could the audio quality be better? Could the video quality be better? Is your commentary lacking? Practice, stick at it. And when you feel like you've reached a point where it's like, I don't really know what to improve anymore, or I just need a little bit of guidance, then come to someone and say, look, I've done 20 videos. There's a few people watching them. Could you watch them? Let me know what you think. If you really enjoy them, I'd appreciate a shout out kind of thing. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people do one video, tweet you, and then expect you to shout them out as if that's the work done. Whereas to me, as someone who's done videos for 3.5 years, what really stands out for me is someone who's committed and clearly enjoys it.
Of course,
and the other thing to obviously be aware of is don't feel discouraged if someone doesn't reply to you.
Yeah.
Because I've got to be honest, like with me, I get quite a lot of tweets, and a lot of them are just porn bots favouriting my tweets, and I'm sure you all get it, but it's really bad. And obviously, I work 9 till 5. If you tweet me at 10 a.m, I might not see your tweet or have a chance to see it until 6 in the evening. And if I don't reply, it's not that I hate you and you were spamming me. It's literally that I haven't seen your content. I feel like sometimes people take it too personally if they ask for advice or if they, ask for a shower or something and they just don't get any acknowledgement. Yeah. And I think there's this assumption sometimes that larger content creators, more established ones, if they don't reply to you, they're ignoring you or they think they're above you.
Yeah.
Whereas I think what people have to realise is people are busy. Sometimes people miss messages. Sometimes you see, I'm sure you have it with your friends who text you sometimes. You see a friend's text you just look at, they've texted me, I'll reply to that, and then you just forget.
Yeah.
Or you see the text at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm terrible for that. But it's something I think with new content creators, it's about, as I said, being committed, trying to innovate, do something that's not been done before, look at things in a new light, really evaluate yourself as a person, and just, again, stick at it, be committed. Do something that's new and don't be afraid to kind of stick at it for a while. And if you get to, 3 months in and you're not getting anywhere, take a step back, look at it and go, why aren't people enjoying this? Why aren't people looking at it? Because, as I said, I think everyone is their own kind of best critic.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you just have to be more critical than you'd like. And as I said with Football Manager, sometimes I look through it with rose-tinted glasses. But at the same time, I'm not afraid to kind of be critical at it, if there's something that really stands out for me as something that should be improved or changed.
Perfect. Yeah. So, Jack, thanks a lot for jumping on. It has been a pleasure. It's been a really good long chat as well.
Thank you. I feel like I might have made the longest chat ever. I hope everyone enjoyed it. It wasn't too rambly.
Yeah, it's fine. It's better than ever. If you guys haven't checked out Jack's channel, make sure you check it out. The link to that will be in the description down below. Make sure you smash the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys very soon.